welcome back to a new video on my channel. Kevin here. I hope you're doing good, everything is fine. So today I want to talk to you about the market. We see right now especially Ethereum, Bitcoin and TON, and some meme coins I've been seeing, looking very good, and I'll explain to you exactly why in this video. So I'll just speak out my mind loud and just think out loud, right? So what we see here is the Ethereum chart, right? And basically Ethereum had a big run up from 2000 to $4,800, right? We can see it here. We managed to nail exactly this bottom here from 3,560 to I sold most of my bags at 4.4k. So we made 225% on a 100x leverage, which means 2,500%. Decent trade. We managed to go in with Bitcoin. Also, this pattern is playing out so good so far so good. Let me just finish it real quick with Ethereum. Based on the fact that we saw the massive pump, I think we might see a retracement to the level of $4,100 to $3,900. It's a very good Fibonacci retracement level to come back down. We see massive support here at the 3,920-ish level. So I'll be happy to see Ethereum coming down here to load up more. And after that, we might pump to 4,500 to 4,800-ish is my prediction for the end of August. It's possible. That's what I guess. We might see, something like that, going here, retesting, going up, and then, like that. Something like that. Could happen. We'll see. Based on that fact, we keep it in mind for now. We see Bitcoin doing a very good movement. I put this pattern here. I called it when it was at 12k, basically at 12 or 13k down here. We managed to nail also the bottom of Bitcoin. I still have something open. Here we can see it. Bitcoin is on 100x as well. Small position, nothing crazy. $300 on 100x left. I already got locked in some profits. So worst case doubling. We bought at 13.5k in average, with Solana at 164. We also we just bought with $100 actually, and we already sold 1,000 USDT. So we did a 10x on that already. Stop loss above break even. So these both positions are doing very well. TON, we're coming to TON in a bit. I just want to talk about Bitcoin right now really quick. My prediction was, when we were here, I predicted that we might break through between this area here. So exactly in the middle we touched it, a little bit, where we didn't break through, and we came down. And what I expect is the possibility to break through until Tuesday is very high. So that's what I keep in mind, because also on a 1 hour basis, we see a good divergence down here. We had a low, we built the low, lower low, higher low on the RSI divergence. MACD showing strength as well. I like that. The only thing that's still decreasing is the volume, but I don't think we see low volume for a long time, because we can see we're just moving sideways, but the RSI is getting stronger. That's a very bullish sign. That's a very bullish setup, as well as I don't like to count the news into the analysis of TA, technical analysis, but Trump and Putin just had a meeting yesterday, and how they acted and how they behaved, I feel like they are about to make a deal, which is then the official the official sign to finally break through for Bitcoin. And yeah, I see the 135k-ish as very possible end of August, which means that we do another, 15% from here. So I expect my position, my opening position here, I still have more positions left. I sold this, just maybe 30% of my whole positions, different accounts. So 135,000 would be 5k profit. It's all right, it's all right. It's 1,900%. We take that. So out of total it was $500. We then made maybe 5 to 6 grand, which is totally fine for now. And yeah, I just like this pattern. After that, I see a correction, a dump to the level of 10,400, or maybe 109,000 to 110,500. That's my prediction, somewhere in between here. I can just basically, let me check, bring that down. 109,000, where basically the last top was, exactly at this level here, 109k. So that's where I see a dump. We come to this 135k-ish level, and then we might see a 20% dump in September. Why? It's not that difficult. We look at it very simple. We look at the past, and we see that, it's always the same. We saw it in August. We pumped here, you see it. August was a very good month. From July until end of August, beginning of September, we pumped 80% in Bitcoin. And then on the beginning of September, we saw a 25% dump, okay? That was 2021 and 2017. We can see the exact same thing happening, as well as in 2013, but let's go on here. You see it. We pumped from July plus 170%, right? And then we dumped I believe 40%. Yes, minus 40. My cat wants to go out. Just give me a second. Yeah. Go out. All right. Excuse me for that. So we saw a minus 40% dump basically. And damn, I'm sorry, I'm pretty chill right now. I'm not too euphoric because I have just been in the sauna. And that's the reason why I'm basically talking so monotone, because I'm very chill right now. I was just going to the sauna for an hour. I wanted to go for an hour, but I just did one round with a 130 degrees, I believe. 10 or to 12 minutes. And after that, I had the idea to make this video to let you guys know, because I like to, I have some good ideas, and I'll explain to you a ton. That's the most bullish thing I have so far. So let me just wrap it up real quick here. So you see, September is always a bad month, the last cycles. So why should this cycle be different? Of course, the people say institutions, blah, blah, blah. Companies buying, here and there. We'll see. That's just my feeling. I feel this is a very good pattern to play out. We tested this level, rejected, and now we'll test it again, and we'll break through to the 130 to 140k-ish. I think somewhere in between, and then we might drop, but to the drop, we can come later. Let's just focus on the pump first. So we have this position to open, and what else did we open? We opened a ton position, okay? A ton position. Why ton? Because ton is very bullish at this moment, okay? It's very bullish at this moment. Let me get some charts away. So let's start first with this pattern exactly, okay? Let me get to the 1 hour time or 2 hour time frame is good. You see, last time we saw Ethereum, okay? Ethereum doing exactly, do you see this? Do you see this on the first side? We had a pump, we dumped, we did like a W, and then we boom, pump massively, okay, massively. And ongoing from this chart, you know, from this bottom here, we pumped approximately, yeah, 35%. You see, 35%, okay, from this bottom. You see exactly the shape. It looks like, really, like, you know, it looks so similar. And here we can see the exact same, okay? We can see the exact same thing happening. So we see we pumped, we're having this W, you know, or even, you know, we might have a bigger W, right? And then we pump, okay? So for me, this looks like the first bottom. I'll consider it as this one, okay? So we'll break out soon. That's what I expect to happen. We might, that's the thing, we might hit this lower, you know, a little bit lower here, but I'll come to that in a second. So when we consider this level here, the 35%, right, 35% pump, then we'll see it leads us to the $4.5 range, okay? And why would it make sense to hit this range? Fibonacci retracement, we make it easy. We don't need to make it too complicated. We see it 410 to 470, you know, somewhere between. 410, I think, is a really retarded goal. Actually, it's such an easy play to hit the $4.1 level, which means that we pumped 20%, you know, 20%. So we have this trade open here, bought at $3.42. Not the best entry, to be honest, but we'll take it. And yeah, we might even come lower to this level. So, you know, based on that, stop loss 3.15 for now. And if we hit the 4.1 level, you know, we made 15 grand. That's a 10x. We put in 1.5k, cross 50x, you know, we have a little bit money on the side, 5.5k. I might add to this account to reduce the liquidation price, you know, because I think, what I really personally believe, as I said, Ethereum might dump a little bit, okay? Ethereum might dump a little bit, and I believe that TON can dump as well, you know, because of course Ethereum is the leader. So if Ethereum dumps, I really have the feeling that TON might do a -5 to -6%, because, here's the because we put the Fibonacci retracement as well, and we see it, the 0.786 level is exactly at 3.75, okay? This is a very decent level. I like this level, and so therefore I put a limit order to buy a little bit more. I think it's a couple of $100 around this level, $3.25, because if we hit this level, you know, then we exactly have the same shape. You know, I just showed you it's a very, very common shape to hit like something like that. You know, and based on the fact that this shape is then way bigger, right? It's not that small. It's way bigger. We even might get higher. So the 4.7 to $5.5 actually is more likely to happen, in my opinion. The 4.1 level is very, you know, that's very it's not a difficult number to reach. Of course, also as the founder of Telegram, his name is, what's his name? Pavel do something with the duad. I'm not sure what his name is actually. Let me check. What's his name? Pavel Durov. Yes, this is the founder of Telegram, you know, and yeah, basically he is a billionaire, and the TON chain is valued at, is lower valued than his own, you know, his own net worth. So I don't, you know, Telegram is such a big chain. It has more than 1 billion of users, you know. A lot of people use Telegram, hundreds of millions each month, or tens of millions at least. And, you know, it's valued at such a small market cap. It's insane. So there's a huge upside potential, especially if we look at the daily time frame. you can clearly see, you know, we went from mid-June from $8 to $2.50. Now we're at $3.50. So this is a very good level to load up some money, yeah, to load up some bags. And yeah, this is my leverage bag, of course. Only I'm showing you my high leverage bags with small amounts of money, but the chance to make more money, you know. And that's why I'm basically very convinced. And also, what I saw is Ethereum, for example, okay, hit the high in, you know, we can consider it here, March 5, right? March 4, Ethereum pumped massively, right? We can see it, Ethereum pumped like from the last bottom till around this area, 66%, okay? And then we saw a massive dump before Ethereum then, you know, went a little higher. But the most of the run happened already. That's why I sold my bags basically at 4.4K already, right? Because I believe that other things will outperform Ethereum from now on, for example, like TON. Because we remember, yeah, the 4th of March. And what do we see here? The 4th of March, you see that? TON was here, was down here at 2.7. And then as Ethereum dumped, TON dumped as well, 18%, okay? That's where we're at right now. We might see this dump right now. And after that, what did TON do? All in all, 200% pump over the next month, where Ethereum went down, right? Where Ethereum went down over, you know, from beginning of March until mid of May, minus 30%. You see that? So while Ethereum is going down, TON is going up, as well as other large coins go up. And I like TON a lot. You know, the setup looks very good. This was the perfect buy opportunity. I missed that, unfortunately, but that's why we look for the next best opportunity, and it might be at 3.25 level. I really like this level, you know, and also as a 30-minute time frame. I just like this setup, man. I just like the setup. We might come one time lower, and everyone thinks, hey, now we dump, but then we have the turn and boom, explode. That's what I see in TON, okay? So going on now with TON meme coin I told you about, right? And everyone knows, the main emoji or the most and the common narrative of Telegram is a duck, correct? The yellow duck, everyone knows the yellow duck. Like this, okay? The duck like this, right? So what I did now is I just, you know, I was scrolling on Twitter, you know. If you don't know my account yet, leave a follow. I'll update you every time, you know, about some things on my account. And I was scrolling through some things, and what I saw is, you know, basically, I saw King UTYA. Yeah? King UTYA was showing up, boom, popping up, right? And I looked at King UTYA, and I recognized something. Okay, we have small amount of followers, right? Small account. I clicked on the people who follow King UTYA, and I see, well, yes, Full Cent Bread, it's Base Billionaire, Tim Base, it's Crashes Clay 69, and it's AJ, okay? So, Tim Base, I know him personally, a very, very smart guy, and Crashes Clay is also a very smart guy, you know? I know him from his videos, I know him from his posts, from his spaces he does with Brad. And what else Crashes Clay 69, yeah, aka Crash, did before was he was talking about Tron last year, okay? I want to show you that. So he talked about Tron last year, and it was in August. Okay, let's see the latest. Let's see. I want to see the first time when he talked about Tron. Can we? When was it? September. Okay. Let's go. Even more. This was the first time. 23. Okay, that's too far. August 22nd of August. Okay, Tron founder flexing that he's better. Okay, he started. So, the best Tron caller in the world is me, and I haven't even called anything, you know? So he starts talking about Tron. And then, all of a sudden, why did he talk about Tron? Because Tron gained attraction, you know? The hype got real on Tron. A lot of people went on Tron. I don't know why exactly. I don't remember correctly, but Tron had, the volume, the trading volume increased on Tron, right? So what Crash did is he then launched a meme coin. Okay, we might have found the hashtag one meme on Tron, I think. Bull. August 25. Okay, that's bull. You know, he called it, right? And we can see it here. Let me just watch out for bull. 25th of August. So basically, 2 days after he talked about Tron the first time, 3 days, he called bull. And what bull did is bull did a 30x, basically. You know, it actually went to 300 million. It's on deck screener, we can see it. It went to 300 something million, 330, I believe. Let's check it out real quick. No. Bull. And if this video takes long, I'm sorry, but you know, it's important for you to understand. I need to explain to you everything I see. And yeah, that's why it takes a little bit longer, but we'll get to it, okay? So this is bull, right? And you see this candle is parabolic, 330 million, yes. So basically he called it actually the first time at, I believe it was at 15 million, okay? So from 15 million to 330 million is more than a 20x. Okay, a 20x he did. And the problem is why Bull and Tron died at the end, because this was the time where the most people were active. And after that, a lot of people sold, of course. And also the volume on Tron decreased massively. You know, the hype died after 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks. So there was no demand anymore, right? So that's one thing, okay? Crash Clay, he has power. He is known in the space for being a good trader, being a good analyst, and therefore, what I thought, okay, hey, he called on Tron Bull. Why Bull? Because on the official, can we? Let's see, on the official Tron website, right? The official Tron, is it Tron DAO? Let's check. Yeah, this is Tron, right? Okay. So on the official website of Tron, what we can see is this guy. You see, and he's smart. And what he did, the emoji that Tron uses already, he did a meme coin called Bull. You know, Bull makes sense, looks like a bull. Bull is bullish, and crypto looks nice. You know, and he exactly used also this kind of thing to make the website, right? To make the website. I'm not sure if this was his coin or not. You know, we don't know that. But what we know is that it was a very smart move. You know, that was a very smart move. You see, it's the same setup, the same movement here. Tron, very smart, very nice, clean website. And that's what I like. So now, based on the fact that, you know, Crash is a smart guy, he started talking about Ton now, okay? And what I recognize is, going on the latest Ton, okay? We can see November 24, that's not what we want to see. January 1st, he always talks a little bit about Ton, right? He likes Ton, he always liked Ton. And since the 7th of August, okay? Now stay focused with me, okay? Now you need to focus, look at the screen and focus with me real quick, okay? So on the 7th of August, he started talking the first time about Ton. 13 billion net worth man. Yeah, that's about Pavel Durov. Buying back Ton, starting off with 500 million USD in planned purchases, okay? On a coin that he controls most of the supply on with 8 billion market cap. 8 billion market cap, and this guy is 13 billion net worth, okay? Here's the post of him, we can click on it real quick. He's just talking, has chosen Ton and the treasury asset it's miring. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin playbook, which let it grow from 1 billion to 100 billion plus in 5 years. The $500 million verb is investing into Ton. It's just the start, right? So basically, new investments into Ton, which is very bullish. And we can see, just from this tweet, I am the new king of Ton and Max Long. Okay, so he starts talking about Ton August 7th. So now we go back to UTYA King. UTYA King Crashes Clay is following UTYA King, right? UTYA King, 117 followers. So what I did is I just look at the post and I see UTYA. Okay, what is UTYA? Well, UTYA, you already see it, yeah? It's the duck, the Telegram duck, right? Hello, I'm UTYA the duck, swimming with Telegram on Ton blockchain, which is the perfect narrative compared to what he did with Bull and Tron. Do you get what I'm saying? And what I see, some people of the community I know, they already follow it, right? They maybe recognize the same pattern that I recognize right now, right? I recognized it earlier, but we'll talk about it soon. So we see this Ton duck, and we see, hey, Crashes Clay called Bull first. Bull was the narrative of Tron blockchain. Now there's a duck, and there's no duck meme coin yet on the Ton blockchain, right? Crashes Clay is following UTYA King, and as well, who is he following? I don't know what that is, but he's following Aussie. I don't know what Aussie is, but it's duck as well. Oh, I need to charge my laptop real quick, my MacBook. Let me plug the charger in. And so based on that, I just see this pattern and I see, hey, there's UTYA Maxi. And who's following the UTYA Maxi? Again, Crashes Clay 69. So based on these facts, okay, main narrative on Telegram, Ton is going crazy, or will go crazy, because there will be so many people joining in. And also, we can see it on the social metrics, yeah? Into the cryptoverse, very good tool for analysis. I like to use it. And what we can see is social risk score is at 0. You can see it here, 0.21, 0.021 basically. So which means 2.1%. You can see it here on the chart. Ethereum, let's put it on ETH. Ethereum is almost at a new all-time high, okay? We're at 2.1% social risk score. Last time Ethereum was that high, or actually the first time, we had 69% social risk score, actually 99%, And now we're at 2.1%. That just means that the retail is not there yet, okay? The retail is not there yet. So when we look at it like that, and we see, hey, this UTYA meme coin sounds good. UTYA, I heard it before. UTYA sounds good. I like it. Hey, I'm UTYA the duck. Makes totally sense. We look it up on DEX Screener, at DEX Tools, UTYA, and we see it. Hey, you remember, right? When Crash started to post about UTYA, about Sean. And now look at the UTYA chart. Guys, look at the UTYA chart. What happens here? Look at the UTYA chart, what happens here, okay? Do you see that? Do you see that? 7th of August, UTYA starts pumping. 7th of August, UTYA starts pumping. The day where Crashes Clay posted the first time again about Ton. So based on this fact, okay, he's following the UTYA King account, whatever that is. He's following Aussie account, whatever that is, basically fan accounts. He's following both of them. Of course not the main account, because he doesn't want people to know that he's basically into the project, I guess. He wants to keep it a secret. But for the smart guys who see this pattern and who recognize, hey, he's following these fan accounts, they might buy some. And based on this fact, I got in on between 11 and 12 million-ish with a 5K first, right? I got in with 5K for now. And what I'm planning to do now is to wait a little bit to wait. As I said, we might have a smaller further correction to ton on 3.25 level, right? And for Ethereum to 4.1k. So we might have 5% correction. And then with that, I think the UTYA coin might also have a little bit of a correction. And from this level on, from the 40 million level, I will start to DCA in more, 1 or 2k steps. So my plan is really to DCA. I hope we get to the 10 million level. That would be very nice, perfectly, so that I can have another bigger bag, 5k already around this area. Down the way, I'm planning to DCA in probably 10 to 15k, probably 10k. So we're then in on 15k with an average of roughly 12 million, which would be awesome. And as well as that, my plan is, you see this position open, right? And as I told you, I believe the $4.5 is a very good range, if not the 4.7 or the $5 range, right? Very good range. So I believe, 4.1 could also happen, that ton will pump first, right? The large cap. The retail will go into the bigger caps first, Ethereum pumped, now Bitcoin will pump first, Ethereum will pump a little bit more, and then Ton and Solana and Sui chain and all these bigger chains might pump more, right? And after that, the smaller caps will pump also. But first Ton. And when Ton, for example, hits this $4.5 range, we're up 24 grand. And with these 24 grand, I will take out another 10 to 15k. Let's say 10k, right? So I have I will take out the whole position in case. I will put 10k, another 10k, okay? So my plan is now, I wrote it here. 12 million average price, 15k, 15k buy-in, okay? 15k buy-in. So then what I want to see is we dump here, I'll buy in, okay? Then we see ton pumping, right? We see ton pumping, and with ton pumping, of course, UTYA will pump as well. That's what we know. And what I expect then is maybe, from the 12 million to do a 2x for UTYA, right? Ton is pumping, maybe 20-30%. UTYA is maybe doing a 2x, maybe more, we don't know. But I'll go in with a 20 to 25 million, maybe 30 million. This is reasonable from my point of view right now, what I expect. As long as Crash has not called it, right? Of course, that's of course a big factor. Okay, so when we load up here, right? We're average 12 million market cap, 15k loaded up. We might pump to the 25 mil range, okay? And even if we're now at 25 million, I will still put in 10k. I will take out this trade, right? I'll be up 24k out of 1.5k. I'll take out 10k, transfer it to this account, and I'll buy more UTYA. So then I have 14k on the side and 10k bought, okay? 10k bought. So my average, 15k at 12 mil, 10k at 25 mil will be at 17.5 mil. I have a 25k bag. Okay, that's good. That's very good. I like this idea. I like the setup because, in my point of view, in my reality, we'll do something like this now. Okay, something like this is what will happen, in my opinion. Okay, and if this happens, we're prepared, and I love to see that. So based on that fact, we have then, at 12.5 million average, a 25k bag. And what happens, of course, if he's not calling? And of course, you saw that there are some people I know, they're already following this product, so they have the same idea, right? And now you can think, if you're a critical thinker, you might ask the question, what if he doesn't call? And what if all the people who bought in here, at 10 or maybe between 6 to 17 million, then think, hey, he will not call. We don't want to have this product anymore. We'll sell, right? Okay, well, what will happen then? We might see a dump, 60% dump, right? So 7 million. we might see from my average, you know. But after we are at 25 mil, people are waiting for Crash to call. He will not call. So we might dump, you know, 70 plus percent, 75 plus percent. You know, 70 plus percent would be around 7 million-ish, you know. So from 7 million to 3 million we could dump, right? So now that my average is at 17.5 million market cap, okay? And we dump 60% roughly, let's say, right? 60, let's say 65% to 6 million. Okay, I would be down. We can just calculate it. We can just calculate it. Here, calculator. So we have 25K position, right? Times 0.35, which is 35%. You know. Okay, or we can also do 65% equals minus $16,250. Okay, so I'm down 16K. Let's say between 14 and 16K, okay? Because once we're at the 7 million level, I probably sell and say, hey, look, the chance of crash calling decreased somehow, ton is not working, the volume is not going in, people are not buying, there's no retail. You know, the thing is, why I like the setup, because there is no retail yet. You know, there is no one to sell this thing to yet. So once we pump, there will be thousands of people coming to the Ton chain, millions of people coming to the Ton chain, and the meme coins on Ton chain are not running yet. There's nothing running. That's why I love this setup. You know, we're early. This shit is at 16 million, okay, and we have so much more to go. And if there's people coming, the narrative is dope. Crashes Clay is behind this project. AJ, Tim Based, big guys, you know, smart guys are behind this project. I like the setup. I like the narrative. And so my plan is, we're at 7 million maybe, right? I'll sell. And then we are down minus 65%. But little do you realize, or maybe you realized, that we're down minus 14K, falling to 16K. But guess what? With this trade, we made 24K. So I have 14K on the side, which also means that we have lost nothing, basically, right? This trade blows up to 4.5 level, which is a very, very doable level. Very doable, if not $5, if not $5.50 in that time, right? So I calculated with a 4.5 moderate, absolutely doable level. We are up 25K. Okay, I have 14K on the side, which cover my possible loss. Okay, my possible loss on this trade, right? This is my possible loss on this trade is 14 to 16K. And I covered it fully with this trade, only with this trade, okay? And I have also other trades, of course, running, not only on this account, many accounts, you know? So it's just with this ton trade, being correct on that ton trade will cover for my possible loss on the UTYA speculative trade that I really like with a good narrative. I told you all this good information about this project, and based on the fact, okay, so now we know, hey, actually you covered, you cannot lose anything, or you will not lose anything. Of course, this thing has to run, right? That's the most important. We need to be correct on this one. If we are correct on this trade only, we cannot lose money on the other trade. Okay, if we are correct on this trade, we will not lose money on the other trade, because we will still have 25K at the end of the day. We will not lose anything, okay? So based on the fact, we then have an average of 17.5 million, okay? Market cap. So we saw last time Crash called at 15 million, right? He called at 15 million. So let's say we're 25 million. You know, we pump a little bit, 20 million, 25 million. And then Crash decides, okay, Ton chain just pumped to $4, $5. Soon, all the money will flow into the Ton chain, into the Ton meme coins, right? Back into smaller coins, because I told you, he's a smart guy, you know, he thinks in the future, and he also thinks, hey, when Ton pumped, then meme coins will pump after, right? Large cap pumps first, smaller caps pump after, okay? So what then will happen is he will call it maybe 25 million, maybe 30, maybe 40 million. We don't know exactly. We estimated 25 million. And from the 25 million, we saw it last time, 15 million to 330 million. But with Tron, it's a way smaller chain, way less popular than the Tron chain, than the Ton chain. The narrative is dope. You know, this Ducky narrative, I think, is really, based on meme coins, the best narrative it has been ever so far. For real now, ever, you know. Everyone knows the duck. There has been Doge, there have been the dogs, you know, but I mean, who knows dogs stickers? Nobody knows dog stickers. Nobody uses dog emojis. But this duck, the UTYA duck, you know, it's very known, man. Telegram, everybody knows Telegram. You know, that's for real. 2025, I think all time, right now, best narrative ever. Okay, we're at 16 million with the best narrative ever there has been. So if the team is doing a good job, if the community who buy in low are able to hold and to sell good, we might go to hundreds of millions, if not billions, with this coin this cycle. Okay, guys, I'm telling you, we're at 16 million right now. If you don't have a bag, I would suggest you to buy a bag now. Okay, buy a bag at 16 million, start DCAing from here. Maybe we come down to the level, but maybe not. So rather buy in here, because in the end, it will pay off more than enough. Because, you know, let's say, okay, crash, you know, he lost power. People are sleeping, they don't want to buy meme coins. Okay, let's say it's not even a 20x, it's just a 10x. It's just a 10x, okay? Which means 20 million or 25 million to 150 million, 10x. Okay, from the level now, yeah, of course it's more, but it will be a 10x. So with my bags sitting at 17.5 million, okay, we know that 17.5 million, let's say 18 million to 250 million is, you know, that's a 12 to 13x. 12 to 13x, 25k that my bag is worth then, you know. 25k times 13 to, yeah, 12 to 14. Let's say that's a really retarded goal, actually. That's a really, that's a goal that, you know, is absolutely, you know, doable. Absolutely. If crash calls, if the people are able to hold good, we might go to 501 billion, but let's even calculate it with only 250 million. That's a 12 to 14x from my average entry, which means that we are at 300 to 350k on this bag. Okay, 300, and this is just a very, very small thought goal, right? My personal view on this thing, if you know, the most important is that the people who buy in early, they are able to see the vision behind it. They see the crazy narrative that the Ton chain is performing good, and that crash calls. That are the main indicators basically on this analysis. And even if crash doesn't call, you know, this narrative is still dope. It's still absolutely insane. And without these calls, we also might go to 200 million plus. You know, it's also absolutely doable. He would just be a, you know, multiplier in the first run up. It's a multiplier, you know. So based on the fact, you know, I believe from, let's say from, yeah, my entry 17.7 to 500 million, it's a 27x, if not a billion, you know. I'll be honest, this is $1 billion meme coin narrative. This is absolutely dope. This duck is insane, you know. It's genius, really idea. I love this idea. So it means we are between a 27x to a 55x, you know. This is my estimation right here. The you know, from the 200 level, 200 million, 250, I will start taking at least 25k out, so I cannot lose, you know. And at 500, maybe at 1 billion, I might start to sell, you know, some profits. So 25, you know, let's calculate that, man, to get you the numbers in front of your eyes. 25 grand times a 27x equals 675k, more than 500,000. And if we go to a billion level, which would mean double, it's 1.4 billion, a million. 1. $35 million. Okay, of course I cannot, I will not realize everything. I will not clip it all in once. We sell step by step, but this is really 300K plus profit we might do with this trade, right? I'm very bullish, and the thing is, the probabilities for this trade to work out, for this idea to come true and to work out, 80% plus, honestly. 80% plus. We see crash following this account. We see these guys following, smart guys following this account. This narrative is dope. The Ton chain will move good. The retail is not there yet. Imagine ETH doing all-time highs at 5K plus. The retail will come back and it will explode. They will buy everything, and then they see, wait, there's a Telegram deck called UTYA, and we're still at 200 million market cap. This is actually $1 billion, if not $5 billion plus dollar coin. Okay, so let me buy. That's what the retail will think. It pumps massively, 1,000% in a day maybe, and then the people will say, oh, we will do a 2-3x still, we have still more place to go, more time to go, and that's what will happen. So based on the fact, 80% plus probability that we will do a minimum 20x on this trade. So now that we know, hey, our downside is limited to 60%, right? I can also sell at 10 million. I can also sell earlier. But I think, this 6 million range is really the time where we might think, hey, this project is probably dead for a reason. I don't know, the team messed up, the community sold way too early or something, always can happen something. That's why I have this 20% probability, but it might be also lower. And we might lose basically nothing. The worst case it can happen actually, if I'm correct on the Ton trade, as I said before, the worst case can do is we can lose nothing. We didn't make anything, but we didn't lost. So we still have all the money left, and that's the worst case can happen if I'm correct on my Ton trade, as I told you. And the best case can happen, 20x plus. So let me ask you this question. If I would ask you, hey, look, 8 out of 10 times, you give me 10K, let's say you give me 10K, and 8 out of 10 times, you get 200K back. 200K plus, it could even be $500,000, it could even be $1 million back, okay? 8 out of 10 times, you get minimum 200K plus back. And 2 times out of 10K, you just give your 10K. Basically, that's what it's about. The risk is that the Ton trade will not be correct, right? That's the risk. So we can even calculate with 2 times out of 10, you lose 6K out of the 10K. But 8 times out of the 10 times, you make 200K plus. So who wouldn't take this trade? Who wouldn't take this trade to multiply their portfolio? Imagine your portfolio is 50K worth, okay? And now you say, hey, look, I want to play moderate. I will invest 5K. Okay, it's 10% of my portfolio. So out of this 5K, I now risk 60%, which means 3K. Okay, I risked 3K with the 3K with a 20% probability, okay? 20% probability that this happens, okay? Or that's what you lose 3K, so minus 3K. Or you make out of this 5K a 20x. A 20x, which means 100K. 100K with the 80% plus chance. Who wouldn't take this? It's obvious. Just put the puzzles, look at the different things that are happening, and you'll see who wouldn't take this trade, man. I would take it 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 times. Because if you take this trade 10 times, you'll win 8 times 100K plus with 5K, right? 5K, if you put 5K in, that's 10% of your portfolio. So basically, what you're losing is not 10%, it's 6% of your portfolio is what you're losing. If you say, okay, I can risk 5K, 10% of my portfolio, which means that it's 6% of your portfolio that you're losing, right? With an upside, you make 100K, but don't forget, you had 50K in the beginning, okay? You had 50K in the beginning. Now you made 100K. You just doubled your portfolio with an 80% chance. Don't forget that. 80% chance you double your whole portfolio that you have. And now imagine you double your portfolio, you wait for the pullback, as I said, for example, in September, then you invest again and you make another 10x. So now your 50K that you doubled, now your 5K turn into 100K. And then with a good trade, which is not that difficult, not even need leverage for that, some good altcoins that easily 10x, if not 50x, So let's say then you turn your 5K into 100K, which basically means you didn't even double your portfolio, only you tripled your portfolio, because you have now 100K plus 50K, which means 150K. So you have 3 times the amount of your portfolio. And now imagine this 100K. Let's say, you have now 150K, okay? You have 150K and everything dumped. So let's say you put even 20K on the side, just to make sure, hey, 20K, no matter what happens, I made 20K. I made 20K plus, that's what I put out, right? 20K. I'm sorry for the mess, but 20K is what I really did do this cycle, worst case scenario. So now you have 130K left, right? And this 130K, you put in a good coin and make it, let's say, just a 10x, which means you have now $1.3 million. You did a 1.3 million. Don't forget that. And the million comes out of the 5K. Don't forget that, With 5K, you now turn it into a million. And look, let me be honest with you. Yeah, let me be honest with you. Let me just delete these things here, man. I will need to the lines again, but it's okay. Let me be honest with you, okay? You put in 5K average, let's say 20 million. Let's say 20 million, okay? Let's be moderate. 20 million, 5K average. We are being objective now, okay? 5K, and we are really, saying, hey, this narrative is crazy. Crash is calling it. People are buying. The attention is going crazy on TON, and this thing goes to 500 million. Okay, and at 500 million, you decide, hey, I want to sell everything. Let's just make this scenario. We don't talk about 5 billion, which also is absolutely possible. We talk about 500 million. That's really something absolutely possible, without a doubt. So that means it's a 23x. Let's say 23x, okay? So now you did a 23x on your 5K. That's such an easy math, right? 25, I just said it right now. 23x, which means 115K, right? Then you say, hey, look, I sold everything. I managed to sell it. I didn't clip it because I don't want to ruin the coin, but I sold everything. I made 100K, okay? You missed out on 15K because 100K is not too much if you sell it at 500 million. That doesn't make a big difference. So you make 100K, okay? Out of this 100K, 10K you put easily away. 10K you put into your bank account. You say, hey, mom, look, go buy yourself a Dyson. Let's go have good food at a restaurant. You invite your mom to a dinner. You have a good time with 10K. You can do some things with it. So you have 90K left. Let's just make it, clear once again. So you have 90K left. Really. Let me be honest with you. You have 90K left. You now wait. You are really patient. End of August, you wait. You're patient. And now you see, for example, Brad. Okay. You see Brad. Man, this video is an hour long. This is crazy, but the explanation is absolutely insane. I hope you enjoy it so far. Now you see Brad, okay? You see Brad going. Okay, let me go to the 1 day time frame. Brad, we already know Brad is a crazy good narrative, also very good community behind it, massive marketing, smart guys. So Brad ran to 1.9 billion, 2.3 billion. And now we might see in August something between 1 billion and 2.5 billion is my estimation, okay? Between 1 billion in August to 2.5 billion, okay? So after that, we see, hey, Ethereum doing a 30% dump. Brad is dumping from, let's say, 2 billion, another, 60%. Okay, let's just say like that. Bread dumps from 2 billion, 60%. You say, hey, bread is a very good coin. I'll put my 90K that I just made with ton UTYA. I put 90K here into bread. Okay, and don't forget, what we now saw is, yeah, that's where bread hit all-time high first time, where the social metrics score was at 42% and 40%, okay? So imagine we see 100%. Mathematically, we can just easily multiply it by 2.5 and we will be 100%, right? I know it will be way more exponential, but we can see it linear as well. So 2.5 billion times 2.5 equals 7 billion. Correct or correct? Yeah, 2.5 times 2.5, 7 billion, right? 2 times, yeah, it's 5 billion and damn, bro, let me just, yeah, it's roughly 7 billion. 7 billion, 2.5 times 2 point, maybe 6.25. Yeah, 6.25. Okay, so that means 6 billion. Okay, and we're being really, like, really not risky here right now. 6.25 million is a goal that, a very retarded goal actually. That's the goal, worst case, we can call it the worst case scenario. What will happen? I think even the worst case scenario is 10 billion, but we say worst case, really, I don't know, something. Putin is bro shooting Trump in his ass, and we see 6 billion. So now hey, you see, we're at 800 million. We dumped. I was patient. I waited. I put the 90K I made with the duck into bread. Bigger coin, more volume. It's a little bit safer than something with less market cap. And of course, it's more known, it's more established. We have been through over a year of buy and sell pressure. All these people who don't believe in bread got washed out massively on this way. All the people that are still in here are really the people who believe bread's going to do well. So now we're at 800 million. We washed out again a lot of people, man. Now the strong believers are only in. And you put 90K, remember, 5K to 90K, and we now go to 6.25 billion, right? That's 670%. 7x, let's say a 7x, okay? You do a 7x on 90K, right? You do a 7x on 90K, which actually is we're talking about a really retarded goal right now. Times 7, okay? 90K times 7 equals 630K. You see, there's a 630K. Let's say, you're selling, you're selling, you're being really moderate, you DC out on the way up. You start from, let's say, 5 billion to 8 billion. So you end up, with an average of 630K. So now you make, let's say, 600K-ish, and don't forget, you had 5K in the beginning. So with two good trades that you analyzed in the beginning, you analyzed where you were patient, you did your calculations on what's the upside, what's the downside. So with the risk, don't forget it, with the risk of minus 3K, you already made 10K. Don't forget that, you took profits on 10K already, so you doubled already. Until this point, you also made a 2x. You already made a 2x, so you cannot lose anything anymore. You already made a 2x, right? You already made a 2x, so let's not forget that. So with a risk of 3K, which basically is 6%, let's estimate, right? 6% of your portfolio. You now made 630K. Do you see, 630K? And this probability up, let me be real with you now. Let's call it really that this pattern that I was just, screaming, like putting up here, we pumped to 2 billion, we come down to 800 million, and we might even come to 500 million. Again, I'm not saying anything about that, but let's say estimate 900, 800 million, which is a good level. The probability that this trade goes into the 100K, 80% chance. I told you 80% chance that this will work out, okay? So now we have the 80% chance, right? If not more, but we are being really, this 80% is really It's more than fair right now. 80% chance. Let me wrap it up again for you, because this idea is crazy, and this is a $100,000 if not $1 million idea here right now. I'm pointing out for you, right? So 80% chance, okay, that this will work out, that you will minimum double your amount, right? And you have 90K. So even if you put in the 800 million, the 90 grand, and you lose it all, you still are double. You still have made double. And at the end of the day, nobody will ask, it doesn't matter how much you lost if you're still in profit. Of course, it would be nice if you would have 100K, but the chance to make even more, you could even, let's say you even take out 30K. So that the 6x, 6x, took minus 30K, which means that you have 70K left. 70K times 70 is still 490K. You still made $500,000. You still made $500,000, and you have this 30K. I would even recommend to take out 30K, honestly. Take out 30K, you made a 6x, 30K is good money, and you put in 70 grand, basically, times 7 equals 490K, okay? 490K. So let's calculate with that. So 490K, and I'm really honest with you that you put in 70K into bread at 800 million in September. And when the old season is there, people are bro, it's so obvious. And even if we're just being linear, I told you, 6.25 billion market cap is such an really realistic, more than that. It's unrealistic even to hit such a low goal. But you then made 500 grand. You made 500K out of, it's such a easy math to do, it's such a logic math to do. You risk 3K to make 500K, and let's say the probabilities, really, to be realistic now, if we come down to this level, so the chance for, in my opinion, that this plays out, right? We pump a little bit. I don't know how far we pump. That depends also. If you just pump to $1 billion, we might come down to 500, 400 million again. If we pump to 2 or 3 billion, then we just come down to maybe 1.5 or 1 billion, So it depends a little bit. But the chance that you do, and I took a very retarded goal, as I said. So the chance that you make out of 70 grand, $500,000, for real, I would even say 90% chance. But let's say even 80% chance, okay? 80% chance. Let's say 80% chance, because, there's always unknown things that you don't know. Maybe the founder of bread, sells his bags, maybe something else. So 20% of things that might be unexpected, okay, is very, very fair. I believe very, very fair. With the things we saw now, bread, marketing, Formula One, combat sports, MMA, football, soccer with Ronaldinho, they do so much, and we never know. So that's why we give it a 20% downside, and if you do this math, right, 80 times 80% chance, which is in total, if 64%, damn, the 6 is crazy. 64% chance. Don't forget that. 60% chance. 64% chance. Let me make the 6 more beautiful. That means it's in total a 64% chance that you turn 5K into $500,000 plus. 64% chance. Who wouldn't take that? Tell me. Who wouldn't take that? You have a 36% chance. 36% chance that I would say, you have 20% chance that you lose 3 grand. And you have another 20% chance that you lose 70 grand, but not that you lose 70 grand, that you just made a 6x, so you win 30. Do you understand what I mean? Half of that is minus 3K, and the other half of that is plus 30K only. Do you get the math behind that? And with that, I hope you understood what I was saying, what I told you. Get yourself a bag of UTYA. The chance that this blows up are absolutely there. I really like this narrative. I really like what I see here. And yeah, I'm not sure if I said every information I know about it. The people are listening right now, so they're pumping this already. And yeah, we're being patient. We're waiting for the hopefully pullback so we can load up more on the way down here. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you listened until now, be proud of yourself, man. I hope you learned something new and you might make some good money. Put in what you can lose. Don't put in too much always. There's always a chance of losing, but this chance of losing is limited. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll do exactly what I just said to do. And yeah, stay safe, guys. Stay healthy and see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.